Good to see you back here, mate. What's the reason?
Just giving us a little freshen up before round one, so we've all got a few days off. So most of the boys went to their hometown for a bit, rest the legs up.
Oh, that's great, mate. That's great. And you down here training because you got relative running around?
Yeah, little brother's playing under 16s with Bobby's side, so a bit of an excuse to be able to come back and catch up with everyone. So it was good, run him down, watch him train, and then so.
How'd he go? He hasn't dropped the ball much, or?
No, he was all right today. It was only pretty basics. They didn't really do anything too extensive, but he was good. So not really sure what position he'll be playing. He's a bit bigger than he was a couple of years ago, so he gave it a year or two off. So he was playing with the Gills a couple of years ago, then kind of went away from footy and he's back. So yeah, it'll be interesting how he goes this year. A bit bigger than he was.
Yeah, he hasn't got tree stump legs like you, but.
No, he doesn't. He's a solid lad, but yeah, doesn't have the tree trunk legs.
We all hope you're going to get a couple more runs on the paddock this year. How's it looking for you down there at Melbourne?
Yeah, I think it's a really hard team to crack. They've got a really good roster. I think with Tino leaving, it will give me a bit more of a chance to get into the side. But I think it'll be interesting to see round one. I'll be in the mix, but I'm not sure if I'll be in the round one side. Let's see what happens.
And you settle down pretty good, Melbourne, like where you're living and how far the training, and what are you sharing house with other people, or have you got a steady girl?
So I'm living in Richmond at the moment, which is awesome. Training's I can get to training in about 5 minutes. Rich recently bought a bike, so me and my housemate just ride around our bikes. Richmond's everything's pretty close to each other. There's a lot of mates that live around there. Really loving that. My housemate's Chris Lewis, so he's from the Sunny Coast Falcons. So he moved down end of last year, end of 2019, and I played all Falcons with him. So it's good to have someone that you're in the same team with, so you can fly up and back for reserve grade. So it's pretty settled in pretty well.
2020 was like down there with all the lockdowns you guys had. Like we've had like a breeze up here. Really.
Yeah. Well, see, I was pretty lucky in that regard. Once things started getting pretty serious in Melbourne, they moved their whole team, all the coaching staff, even most of the players' families up to Sunny Coast, and we're staying in a resort there. We were in a bubble. It was pretty normal. Well, it wasn't normal. We'd been moved out of our home, but we could go out and do as we please. But then it got to a point, because we were versing teams that were from New South Wales that were in hotspots, we were then required to quarantine, so we couldn't actually leave the resort. So we'd go to training, we'd go back. So there was about 2 months where we weren't allowed to leave whatsoever, unless it was with the doctors or it was for training or a match. So it was a pretty crazy year. I think it really helped us, but because we were so close, we were constantly hanging around each other. We got to meet all the players' families. It was a really good experience. We got to meet all everyone's, got familiar with their kids and partners. So it was really tight knit. I think that actually helped us a lot on the footy field. Boys got the result in the end. So
it was great watching the grand final and seeing you come on at the end, even though you didn't get a run. But, what was it like?
I didn't play, obviously, but the feeling that I got, just from being able to know that at some point throughout the season I did contribute, it was amazing. Everyone was just beaming, everyone was so happy. It was just, I remember when Foose caught that ball after it had gone up in the air, and just everyone sprinted onto the field. It was just, everything was just tingling. It was crazy.
Smithy not there this year, how's it? The camp is just still rolling along.
Yeah, so Smithy's a huge part of the Storm, but I think a compliment to the Storm just being the way they are. They've brought up players that are ready to take on their position. There's it's such a it's a one in all in kind of club. So all the other senior players will just stand up and make sure they try and fill that void that Smith's left. But yeah, he's a huge loss, but it'll be good to see how we go moving forward.
He'd easily slot Billy into the coaching ranks, wouldn't he?
Oh yeah, well that's what if anyone would ask me what Smiths was like as a player when I was lucky enough to play with him, I'd just say he's honestly he's like another coach really. Like he's you know, everything, he explains everything, like he can take drills himself. Like it was literally like having another coach on board. So it was really handy. I think I could really see him fall into that kind of role. Like Slatsy comes in probably once a week and helps with you know, all our outside backs and all those kind of blokes. So yeah.
Smithy just seems to have, he can extend time or slow time down.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I've explained that to a few players. He just because he's so calm in the moment. Like I remember playing with him, like, you know, it was my first few games, and I'm just absolutely, everything's going 100 miles an hour. And I remember like Smits would just look at you, and he would just be calm as day, and he'd just say, "Here, do this, do that, tell you to play." You're like, "Sweet, that's my role." And you know, it would just like cut through all the noise and everything that was going on. So yeah, definitely.
So all the best for this year, and you know, you're at a fantastic club, and man, you know, you got a lot of blokes in front of you, but I'm sure you're going to get there. That's for sure.
Cheers, mate.
Good to catch up with you.
Yeah, mate. Always a pleasure.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers.
Right,
Cheers,
thanks,
mate.
mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.